Most senior golfers are making this key mistake, and it's costing you tons of consistency and power in the golf swing. And it's really an easy fix once you know what it is. It makes perfect sense once you understand what happens as you age. I don't have many years on me, but everyone knows what happens as you age is your body gets more stiff and you're able to get less and less of a turn. And so when I see senior golfers swinging the golf club, 90% of the time I see the trail hip not moving in the golf swing. And this causes a cascade of issues. If I don't turn my hip, then my upper body can't turn, then my arms are going to break down and swing in any random direction. And you're most likely to have a lot more bend to your lead arm than you need than if you made a better turn. So it all comes back to the trail hip. Now, a lot of senior golfers know that they're not turning their trail hip, but it's still really hard. It's really hard to make your body move when it doesn't want to. And when you're addressing this golf ball from a static, still position, it doesn't want to move. So what are we trying to do? We're trying to get a 45-degree hip turn. And for most senior golfers, if I asked you to get out of your chair that you're sitting in right now and get 45 degrees of a hip turn, you probably could, but you have to really focus on turning. But the problem that happens in the golf swing is if I told you to face the golf ball and now swing the golf club in the backswing, you're most likely going to focus on staying in balance and you're not going to focus on getting this big turn. But again, if I told you to get a 45-degree hip turn and focus on turning, most of you could. So the two questions that I'm going to ask you right now are, why do we need a 45-degree hip turn? And how can we make it easier to get this hip turn? So I'm going to answer the first question. But before I do, I'm going to answer the second question by referring to the senior golfer material in the Natural Balance Online Golf School. In my online golf school, I have 7 different senior specific methods to make hitting the golf ball easier. And the point of it is you find which one you like the most. And I will be answering the second question by giving you advice from senior method 1 and senior method number 5 on how to make it easier to get a hip turn. So to answer the first question, which is why do I need this big hip turn? The reasoning is pretty simple. If you just faced the golf ball and you did not turn your hips at all, you can't hit the ball far. So let's see how far I can hit driver if I don't turn my trail hip at all and I don't get the body involved. Let's see how far I can hit driver. I tried my best to walk out that trail hip. So 120 yards of carry. And then let's see how much farther I'll hit it if I get that trail hip out of the way and my body can make more of a turn. So 70 miles an hour of club head speed. I'm not saying you should swing like this. I'm going to show you how to do it with senior method 1 and senior method 5 in my online golf school. But I'm going to get that trail hip out of the way. We'll see how far it goes. Really good shot right down the line. And 270 yards of carry and 290 yards total. So I gained 150 yards of carry for me because I got my trail hip out of the way. And it's a pendulum, so the club head was able to get further and further behind me. And so it has more momentum. I was coming into the ball, and the swing speed was closer to 113 miles per hour. There, look at that side spin, by the way. Look at that side spin. Almost a dead straight shot there. Wow. That almost never happens. So hopefully you can see why you need to turn the hips. You can gain a ton of distance if you do turn the hips, but only if you turn the hips in the right way. And also, it is a more inconsistent move if you do not turn your hips. When you get the body moving consistently back and through, the hips get involved. If you do not turn your hips fully, then your hips will turn a different amount each time. And also, if you do not get a full hip turn, the upper body cannot turn against the hips, which leads to the senior golfer mistake of shifting off the golf ball. If the hips get locked and the upper body has nowhere to go, generally the club wants to keep swinging. And you also know you need a little bit more power to hit the shot. So what ends up happening is that the club keeps swinging and it keeps swinging in a couple of ways. One way could be swing off the ball because you can manage a bigger turn if you sway off the ball. So all the weight shifts off the ball into your back foot. The only problem is you're going to have to shift all the weight to the front foot to hit a solid strike, which you can do. This is actually senior method 6 and 7 in my online golf school, showing you can still shift the weight and strike the ball solid. So you can definitely play golf like this, but I would say it's not the most consistent. The next way is coming up out of your posture to get more of a turn. This would be most common with the shorter irons. The reason this happens is the body can make the biggest turn when standing straight up and down. So instinctively, you know this, so you stand up out of the shot to get a bigger turn because the hip got locked out. And then the last way is the arms really breaking down and losing connection to the body. Because again, the club wants to keep swinging, so the elbows are going to get farther apart, the lead arm is going to bend more, and those hands are going to feel like they're getting closer to your ear. Why is this bad? Why can't our arms break down? Well, you want the elbows to be closer and the lead arm to be straighter because that is a more consistent way to swing the arms. If you isolated just the arm movement in the golf swing, you could easily swing the arms in the same manner back and through if you keep the elbows closer and the lead arm a little straighter. So all this to say, we want the full hip turn in the golf swing to eliminate a bunch of swing issues. We can get more power because we can get a full turn. It's more consistent because our body is moving better back and through. We eliminate weight shift. We can better stay in our posture and our arms can stay better connected. All in all, our consistency gets a lot better and we gain distance. Sounds fun. And that answers question number 1, which was why do we need a full hip turn? Now, the second question I asked was, how can we make this easier? So I want you to do this quick drill with me. I want you to grab your club. I have my sand wedge here. And I want you to take both ends of the club and turn this club right and then left and face the target. So turn it right and then left. And you could even make this harder, try to feel your elbows against your side as you do this and feel how that body's moving and how you can get that trail hip opening up. Try to feel like the pressure's more on the inside of that trail leg and really feel this hip going straight back and just try to get the biggest turn that you can. Just focusing on getting the turn. And then from here, bend over and feel how big of a turn this feels. And then from this position, you can even swing your arms and feel how big of a turn this is. And I want you to do this drill to realize with yourself that, man, I can get this turn, but for whatever reason, when I'm going to hit the golf ball, I'm not. And that's the next drill is I want to show you why this happens. So if you set up to the ball, and now I want to ask you to just take your normal swing and try to hit the ball, you probably didn't get this big turn when you were focusing on it. And that's mainly what I want to shed light on and why I'm going to show you the senior methods is because from a static still position, because right here you're in motion, right? Your body's in motion, so everything's working better. But in the golf swing, if you're static here and you're not moving, and then now all of a sudden you're trying to make a big turn, nothing wants to move. Everything, it just feels like you can't move it. And so we need a way where we can start moving our body, either help us move to start or already be moved. And that's what I'm going to show you now. So there are 2 methods that I'm going to mention to be able to move better. The first method is taking your stance and presetting your hips fully closed. So you're turning back and through, and on the back swing, when you have fully turned the hip, you then get a little weight forward. And so now the hip is cleared and you try to get a full turn going back and a full turn going through. So I know it sounds simple, but you just take your normal stance and remove all the nonsense from the equation and go ahead and turn the hip and then swing. And it'll help you swing more from the inside. The second method, some of you might like more. This is senior method 5 in my online golf school. You get the 45 degrees of hip turn from closing the stance. So I know it sounds kind of crazy, but it's also not a new idea. There's a couple details where if you try to play golf like this with this close of a stance and you don't get it right, it can definitely not work. But you let the trail foot pivot and let the hips open with that. So the stance is aimed way right. You get the weight forward when you do that, keeping the hips closed, and then reset the upper body to the golf ball. So you basically keep the hips where they are and you don't turn them anymore. And you let the upper body wind up against the hips. And because the motion has started and the hips are engaged, now you can come on around. So now let me hit a few shots with Senior Method 5 with driver in my online golf school. So I'm gonna set up to the ball. And instead of my normal stance that I take, I'm going to drop that trail foot, let that hip get out of the way, and then reset the upper body. Make sure I don't hit the wall here. Reset the upper body. And so I'm aimed way right, and hopefully we will see a draw here. Did see the draw. I'm gonna get better and better as I do this. That was my first swing doing that. So it's a little hard to change up. We can definitely improve that. We can definitely improve that. Here, let's go again. The problem that I had there was the path was so out, and the club face was like 12 degrees close to the path, so then the ball is not going to stay in the air a long time. Let's go again. And so that one's going to stay in the air longer because I left the face a touch more open. And it's very consistent. You can see I'm hitting that nice little draw pretty much every time. And I don't practice this at all. And I'm getting better and better. Ideally, I would like to have less of a draw, so I'd have to open the club face a little bit more. But you can see I'm hitting the ball closer to what I would normally hit it. So I'm gonna just try to grip the club just a touch more open here. See what happens. Felt a little awkward, but I mean, it's right in the middle of the fairway. That was the first bad shot. I mean, still fine though. Bang on. I mean, they're all good shots. And I've been feeling really less of a turn here. I'll try to give it some more speed. Try to give it some more speed. And that straightened it out. My left leg got a little involved. So you can't hit the ball farther, but generally the more still you are, the more consistent you're going to be. But the speed is in there if you need it. And you can see how right my stance is at that bunker, and yet the ball is ending up over there. It's because it's a nice draw. Yeah, that one wasn't as good, but they're all in the fairway. Oh, that one. I'm finding it now. Oh yeah, that felt smooth. Yeah, just gotta find the rhythm a little bit. That felt still and good. That was nice. Can I do that again though? I don't know. Oh yeah, I'm doing a little something different now, and it's really helping to hit the ball farther. I'm feeling a little bit more, the club a little bit more out, and the arms tilted just a touch more this way, and it's helping. But yeah, that's senior method 5. You can see how I'm hitting the ball down the middle. Even though my stance is a little closed, it can look really weird, but it will really help you to make a bigger turn, hit the ball a lot farther, and have a lot more fun playing this game of golf. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you want to learn all the senior methods, they are available inside my online golf school. I have 30 senior specific drills, a senior laser system, and the 7 senior methods that I mentioned in this video. I hope the rest of your day goes well, and I'll see you in the next video.